Good morning, everybody. That's right, it's time for another film review. I haven't done a brand new film like for this week. It's been quite the busy week. I went out to watch the Royal Rumble at the weekend, and of course Monday night there was Arsenal Bournemouth. So yeah, a bit busy weekend. So haven't had time to go watch a new film. So I thought let's have a retro one. Like we haven't had that for a while. So yep. I will be seeing something new very soon, so don't you worry about that. So I thought retro it is this week, and this week's retro film I'm talking about Alfred Hitchcock's Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Yep, a absolute horror thriller classic. I've seen it a few times before. I watched it at the weekend for the first time in a very long time. And I gotta say, it's still suspenseful. It is definitely a film of the time it was released. They did do a remake in the late 90s with Anne Heche and Vince Vaughn, which a lot of people have condemned, but I think as far as some of the more modern remakes, it's quite good and relevant. Psycho is a classic film, but it's also a film like that can be like remade again. So if they did another remake, I wouldn't say no to it. So of course it's a film that's been referenced and parodied like for many years to come. Like when people say about the film Psycho, say, oh I know, like the one in the shower with the like the knife stabbing thing. That is the most famous thing that people reference it for. Obviously, it's much more than that. So I'm going to educate you about it. So yeah, the plot of Psycho, Janet Leigh that's the main character. Like she plays a secretary like for a bank worker in Phoenix. One afternoon, the boss asks her to go invest lots of money. It's never really explained why she does it, but for some reason, she says, "Oh, I'm not feeling well, but still, let me go invest the money like you've asked me on the way home, and I'll see you on Monday." The boss is like, "Yeah, fine." So they go, she goes, does that instead of investing the money as she said like she would. She for some reason decides to do a runner with the money, which she does. She ends up at the infamous Bates Motel along the way, lock off on the run, and that's where we meet the infamous Norman Bates, played by the excellent Anthony Perkins. Straight away you notice there's a bit of unhingedness about him. Norman Bates is a very famous character in the history of film. So famous that many years later, not only many years later, so famous that there are actual three Psycho sequels. The fourth one is more of a prequel that chronicles the life of Norman Bates. And there's the TV series Bates Motel, which I've never seen, and as a Psycho fan, I should get on that. It is a very good horror film. Sorry, like horror show, so I'm told. And it stars the excellent Freddie Highmore. So there's some referencing or some foreshadowing to watch there. That's Norman Bates lives alone on this remote motel with his mother, as it were. So along the line, she decides to have a shower, and then comes that very infamous shower stab scene. So the camera angle and the way it was filmed for that time, and I suppose of even now, sort of the stylization is still quite wow. It's true. Like they said, like Alfred Hitchcock was the master of suspense. It's really good. I'm just trying away from the plot there. Come back to it. When Psycho first came out, amazingly 60 years ago now. It's incredible, like this film's 60 years old now. Alfred Hitchcock asked and suggested like that all cinema managers and goers that were showing like this film to arrive on time for the film. Otherwise, if you don't, you'll just sort of like you miss out on it. And of course, like throughout sort of like time, you know, like we've always instructed people like to go to the cinema or the theatre like on time. You know, but like I wrote to sort of say, you know, arrive on time. Otherwise, ushers like should just shut the door and do not let people in. You know, because in order to watch this film or truly appreciate this film, you've got to watch all of it. And that's one thing like I've always sort of thought. There's no point in going to the cinema unless it's completely like unavoidable to a film like that's 10 minutes in. You know, I just sort of feel, you know, if especially if you go pay for it, pay for the whole hog, like rather than like just 3/4 of a film. Obviously, I know it's unavoidable at the best time sometimes, but so you just sort of think, what's the point watching like 3/4 film? So it's quite good like that Alfred Hitchcock personally sent out like these messages like to ushers and managers saying, you know, don't let anyone in if they're late. Please arrive on time to fully experience the whole masterpiece of my film, and that's very good. So yeah, like that's a little bit of trivia for you. I always like to throw like these little like trivia into the retro like reviews of anyway. Right, so back to the plot. So yeah, Norman Bates. Well, the thing is, you never actually see it himself. You know, I'm like about to suggest like Norman Bates like stabs like this Korean woman like in the shower and then just covers like her up. So obviously word gets out that this money was never delivered. She does come in for work like on Monday, like her sister is thinking, oh, like that's not like her. Like not only not like her to not show up for work, but to off with the money. She does. So they send people around to look for her. This private investigator arrives at the mansion. Sorry, like the mansion. At the motel, which this prompts Bates to sort of think, oh God, like they're on to me. Oh, like what's going on here? I best cover up. So, you know, he then either gets offed, and then which leads her sister and like her sisters like another like to sort of think, right, something's gone wrong. Like we sent this guy out. Let's go like investigate like ourselves, which they do. And then the mystery like unravels. But that's where I'm going to leave it. See, now it would be foolhardy to sort of suggest the whole plot of it. And the whole point of these film reviews is so that if I tell you a little bit about it, leave you hanging, you'll then sort of think, oh, I really want to know like what's happening next. I should go watch this film. So therefore, yes, you can. As like I say, it's a very, very old film. It is on Netflix in all its original glory. Blu-rays, DVDs, Amazon, you know, many formats like to watch it, but I suggest you go do watch it. So yeah, that is what Psycho is. Yeah, why do I like Psycho so much? Well, I'm a big fan of Alfred. I'm not a big fan of Alfred Hitchcock. His films still like to this day are like relevant and amazing. I must confess, like I've only seen 3 of his films. I should watch like some more of them. I you know, like his back catalogue is extensively brilliant. Like for instance, so obviously I've seen Psycho. The Birds is another classic. There's Rear Window. I've seen bits and pieces of North by Northwest. Another person like who's a big famous fan of Alfred Hitchcock is Seth MacFarlane, the Family Guy creator, who's referenced like his films like within certain like episodes of Family Guy. But Psycho to me is brilliant. I do believe that it gave birth to the modern day twist, and and that's another thing, like, why, like, I'm not going, like, to say, like, of any more about this film, sort of, like, even like this day, like, for someone like seeing it for the first time, although you might sort of figure it out before it ends, the actual twist and reveal of this film is actually like, oh wow, that I didn't see that one coming. It's a film that's still legendary. I think, you know, don't get me wrong. There are certain scenes that are a bit of a slow build. Like my partner, like she wasn't too keen, but I'm glad that she sat through it, because obviously this is a film that does require patience, you know. But the build for it when it comes to the end, like the actual crescendo, is pretty amazing still. But yeah, Psycho I still think is a magnificent film, and it has a lasting legacy still. And you know, like the cast, Anthony Perkins, Vivian Lee, you know, they're still, you know, they were brilliant of actors of their time. And Alfred Hitchcock, you know, like they didn't call him the master of suspense like for nothing. You know, his filmmaking catalogue and his skills are just legendary. So now it comes to why I should recommend this to you. If you like your horror films, if you like good casts, if you like suspense, then all boxes ticked by all means. What rating would I give it? You know, like I say, it's still a magnificent film. It's not quite in the masterpiece, so it just falls under my 5 out of 5. So therefore, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It's the right length as well. You know, the casting is good. The suspense is still there. I'm just a big fan of Psycho and Alfred Hitchcock in general. So, but yeah, I'd give it 4 stars out of 5. Psycho to me still is a magnificent film. Always enjoy it. So, you know, like happy to watch it again. Like I say, like I want to give like the sequels I watch again, as well as the remake. So yeah, that's what I say. If you watch the original Psycho and enjoy it, then go check out like the sequels. You know, like which dives more into the mythology of the character of Norman Bates, because sort of like that's the thing, like that's the other thing. It's sort of it is mainly like all about Norman Bates, and of course you've got the Bates Motel TV series. So go through the Psycho anthology is the best way that I can describe that. So yeah, so what's coming up? So hopefully go watch the film The Lighthouse over the weekend. Very looking forward to that. So if I do go see that, there will be a review coming. So yeah, brilliant film, brilliant cast. So yeah, anybody wants to leave any comments, please do so below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and have a very good rest of the day. Goodbye.